safely, but their 2 dogs died. That home a total loss. The state fire marshal's office is now investigating how that fire started. Also in Port Charlotte, this man was arrested after the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office says that he tried to lure 2 children into a truck on Friday. Now, deputies say the kids were walking home from school near Sunnybrook Road and Broad Point Drive when that black pickup truck approached the kids. The children told their parents that the 2 men offered them video games and candy if they would get inside that truck. Deputies say they found a truck matching the description on a home on Marine Terrace there and questioned one of the men who was living inside, 19-year-old Joseph Cerner and 21-year-old Leighton Daigle. Both admitted they had been driving in that area but claimed they didn't speak to any children. Only Cerner was arrested for luring a child under 12 as one of the child has identified them. According to deputies, he's now out on bond. Also, a $20 million project to renovate the Naples Players Theater is now underway. This will, though, close off one road near downtown this spring.
And 4th Avenue South is getting closed off for 2 blocks. It's right behind the theater, just north of it, between 6th and 8th Streets. Fox 4's Colton Chavez got an early look at the renovations causing the closure. The staff, though, says that the preparations came long before Hurricane Ian did.
The Naples Players was brought to 5th Avenue in 1998 to revitalize downtown.
After 25 years in the spotlight on 5th Avenue South in downtown Naples, the Naples Players closing the door on the old.
Drywall has been taken off of here and
starting some revitalization of their own.
And that wall over there has been completely taken out.
For Kenzie Curry, who says she started here as an intern and is now the chief of staff for the Naples Players, kicking off the $20 million renovation project.
So this was a full wall.
Kenzie says provides a clear view of what's to come.
It seems like it's hard for you to really imagine what this is going to be because it looks like a huge mess to me right now.
Yes, well, we've been talking about this for about 5 years, actually.
5 years to visualize and is now being seen street side behind the theater, where the city of Naples has closed down 4th Avenue South so heavy equipment can be used over the next 7 months for improvements like
more audiences. We'll have more seats for them to sit in. We'll have more comfortable areas for them to be here.
Additions that Kenzie says Hurricane Ian did not create, but like many who are still rebuilding, created a shortage of workers and supplies.
Just access to those things became an issue.
Regardless, Kenzie says the project is still set to be complete by next March.
We're really excited to be able to continue to provide that access and to provide better classrooms and better education and better places for our partners and our patrons.
So while this road closed sign isn't going anywhere anytime soon, the city of Naples says they do plan to reopen 4th Avenue South for special occasions like the 4th of July. In Naples, Colton Chavez, Fox 4.
We're staying in Collier County for this next story. The West Winterberry Bridge on Marco Island will be closed for repairs this Thursday from 7 in the morning until 6 at night. We first reported issues with the bridge back in January when city leaders worried that it would collapse. But after inspection, the bridge reopened days later, and it's now being repaired in phases. Crews replaced one of the post-tensioning tendons back in March, which hold the bridge support slabs together. Well, this Thursday, crews will now repair a second tendon. City leaders say drivers and pedestrians can use San Marco Road as an alternate route on Thursday. A full replacement of the bridge is planned for later this year. Well, Fox 4 is following through for you, making sure you're protected for the next storm. And after hearing about a hurricane shutter giveaway right here on Fox 4, a local veteran and his wife applied and won. Advanced Hurricane Technology gifted the new motorized hurricane shutters to a Cape Coral Vietnam veteran and his wife today. In addition to this new system, Thomas Ruth will also receive free installation. Now, Ruth is a disabled veteran with health concerns, so he will now be able to protect his home from future storms with the push of a button. The company says their goal is to protect those who protected us.
We want everyone to know that we are here to make sure that you are protected in the way that we would protect our own homes and family.
Advanced Hurricane Technology is a family-run business right here in Fort Myers. Also, take a look at this video sent to us from a viewer who captured a bobcat walking across the golf course in Murley Country Club in Fort Myers this evening. You can see it's just taking a slow stroll across the green and then over a bridge by the course. And we know that we have Florida Panthers here and also bobcats looking to play some golf tonight.
Yeah, careful with the approach, truly, on that one.
Very true. Well, here's what we're working on after the break. Florida officials are on high alert tonight, saying that fentanyl is becoming increasingly prolific, killing kids as young as 14, and we're seeing it right here in Southwest Florida.
Might be more places than you might think about. Ahead, Fox 4 Investigates takes us to the front lines of the crisis for a look at what is fueling fentanyl and the faces behind the struggle.
And in our next half hour, your kids may think they're social media savvy, but some educators say otherwise. How a new Florida bill, expected to actually become law, aims to keep students safe online.
High pressure's in control. That means dry conditions for now into tomorrow, but that won't be the case as we wrap up the work week. I'll let you know when you need to make sure you have that rain gear handy as Fox 4 News continues.
Tonight, the start of an in-depth Fox 4 investigation.
Moved in with a girl, and we relapsed together.
A community conversation about the #1 killer of people 18 to 45 in the state of Florida.
That's when I upgraded to fentanyl.
That looks like the real thing. Fox 4 Investigates takes you exclusively inside the fight.
They're not oxycodone. Just the seizures alone was enough to kill every American.
As we shed light on recovery resources and solutions.
The only thing that I can do in response to that is help as many people as I can try to help.
Fox 4 Investigates presents a comprehensive look at the battle on the front lines of fentanyl.
For this Fox 4 investigation, I'm Ryan Kruger.
And I'm Shari Armstrong to show you why it is so important that we have this conversation right now. The most recent state numbers show fentanyl is causing more drug-related deaths than anything else 18 to 45 years old. Fentanyl is often mixed with other drugs. Yes, it is in pills, but it is also in other places. In fact, the CDC says it's even in eye drops and candy. Florida's Attorney General is so worried she's even talking about 14-year-olds overdosing.
And that is why this week I am taking you exclusively inside the federal lab to show you the problem firsthand. I'm also speaking with a group of recovering addicts, all in search of solutions. We are having this conversation right now because fentanyl is commonly found in pills. It starts with Chinese companies making the fentanyl, then going to Mexican drug cartels, pressing the fake pills, and now the odorless, tasteless, man-made opioid is everywhere. The American Addiction Center tells us fentanyl is so problematic and you might not even know that you're taking it.
So to help us understand what's going on here in our Southwest Florida communities, we want to start with someone in recovery from fentanyl, someone who was not searching for pills. Instead, he calls Hurricane Ian one of his latest triggers.
Hurricane Ian's landfall meant newly out of rehab recovering addict Mark Kelly Joseph
I did 21 days out of the 28 days.
lost most communication with therapists.
I don't have to contact anybody. I don't have to go see anybody because I was complying. So I took it as an opportunity to get high again.
He was using many drugs like marijuana and cocaine and fentanyl. The problem with that, it's often mixed in with other drugs. An addiction Mark Kelly has battled for 22 years.
I've been using since 13.
And regular use has often impacted other aspects of his life.
I have a long criminal record, sales and delivery, trafficking, batteries, and just all kinds of, everything that had to do with drugs.
How many kids do you have?
5.
You have 5 kids?
Yes.
The oldest kid?
16.
Youngest kid?
6.
Have you seen them recently?
No.
When was the last time you saw your kids?
Couldn't tell you.
But he can tell you about the times he's struggled after rehab. The National Institute on Drug Abuse says people in recovery, quote, often experience at least one relapse.
I got my own apartment. I became a supervisor at a recycling plant, doing my thing, moved in with a girl, and we relapsed together.
Eventually, the relapse came that changed his life and habits when he was in the hospital for a blood infection.
At that time, that's when I upgraded to fentanyl.
Remember, any substance sold on the black market could contain fentanyl.
Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody regularly updates our state's fentanyl story and says last year the drug became the Sunshine State's #1 killer. Most alarming to Moody,
children younger than 14 are dying of fentanyl poisoning at a faster rate than any other age group.
Being here, it's like you're in a protected bubble.
I met Mark Kelly 9 days before he was scheduled to be released from the David Lawrence Center's drug treatment program. He was scared to return home for Thanksgiving.
Even though as a man, I'm ready for that. That's what I want. At the same time, like what I've gone through, in a sense, I may not be ready. On the 12th, it's been 5 months clean.
I caught up with Mark Kelly after his treatment and met him on a job site where he works as a fire watcher. He is proud, showing me the driver's license he's waited years to get reinstated.
I have to have it.
He says he's leaning on church and frequent check-ins from a sponsor. But the truth is, he says, is that the desire to get high does not just go away.
The temptation is there every day. I struggle with it every day.
And data from the American Addiction Centers shows 40 to 60% of addicts relapse during recovery.
I've gotten high my whole life. I want to get high right now.
So the fight is constant, but so is his desire to see his 5 children. A constant reminder, he says.
There's another way.
And Mark Kelly tells me that a caretaker for his kids asked him to get clean for 1 year before regular visits can happen again. And he says he is working towards that goal. Now, if you want to hear more of Mark Kelly's story, you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. That will take you to the Fox 4 website where you can watch our extended interview.
And while fentanyl is everywhere now, and that's why we're having this conversation, the pill problem is still a primary concern. As our investigation continues, we are taking you inside the DEA's Miami drug lab to understand what Florida is up against on the front lines of fentanyl. With Shari Armstrong, I'm Ryan Kruger. Fox 4 Investigates.
And you could just see how proud Mark Kelly was. We are so grateful for him to open up his heart to us because it is such an important conversation we need to be having.
We will be having these powerful stories all throughout the week here on Fox 4, so do make sure to stay with us as we'll all keep experiencing this journey together.
Let's go ahead and shift now to weather because the Monday today actually started out hot, dry, not too much going on, but still we have to talk about chances later this week. We could have some more rain
That's right. You won't need the rain gear tomorrow, Nadine, but you will later on this week. So first, let me show you our weather setup. High pressure is in control right now, and because of that, we are seeing beautiful blue skies. Live look outside. It's not blue, it's dark, obviously, but you get my point. High pressure is in control, so that means we don't have to worry about any clouds out there as we look live from the Bayfront Inn in downtown Naples. And so long as this area of high high pressure is in control. That means dry air. And in this case, it's not just at the surface, but it's also aloft. So for tomorrow, especially the first half of tomorrow, lots of sunshine on the way. Basically, this ridge of high pressure protecting us from any storm system from getting anywhere close to southwest Florida. Now, eventually, this is going to break down over the week. And as it does so, that's going to allow those rain chances to return. But in the meantime, dry, warm, a little muggy out there, 78 degrees. Dew point, that crept upward, now in the mid 60s. The higher the dew point goes, the soupier the air feels, and it's actually contributing to a heat index right now, causing it to feel more like 80 degrees. Bus stop forecast is going to stay on the muggy side, upper 60s expected, and then heading home from school, we're going to be running in the low 90s, partly cloudy sky. And again, while you don't need that umbrella tomorrow, I do advise some nice ice water for the kiddos for sure, and sunglasses for that morning commute. Look at this, really nothing in the way of clouds to impede that view for tomorrow morning's travel. Heading into the afternoon, the heat, the humidity will help to fuel some of those clouds out there. So building clouds expected for the afternoon into the evening. Could squeeze out a passing rain shower far inland, but for the most part, we will stay on the dry side as we head into the afternoon and evening. And then looking ahead to your Wednesday, quiet start expected. Could see some areas of fog. Of course, we'll continue to monitor that potential for you. But otherwise, heading into the afternoon, best chance for a passing rain shower on Wednesday. We'll stay farther inland. Hendry and Glades, that's where we have the best chance on Wednesday afternoon of picking up a little bit of something in the rain gauge. Otherwise, we will stay quiet from DeSoto, Charlotte, Lee, into most of Collier County. And then we look ahead to Thursday. That's when those rain chances bump up to 60%, and that will be for the afternoon and evening. So make sure you have that rain gear close. Umbrellas needed both Thursday and Friday afternoons and evenings as those scattered showers and storms build in. But looking ahead to the weekend, as of right now, I'm only expecting isolated rain chances to pop into the picture both Saturday into Sunday. Sunday, of course, being Mother's Day. For tonight, clear skies will drop down to 69 degrees in Lee County, mid-60s expected farther inland, as well as Punta Gorda to Arcadia. Naples starting off around 70 or so. Afternoon highs, it's going to be a warm one as we push into the lower 90s. Low 90s expected along the coast. Little cooler for our friends in Naples, moderated by the Gulf there. But otherwise, look farther inland. That's where those very hot temperatures will be. LaBelle, Moorhaven, Clewiston, all hitting highs close to 95 degrees. It'll stay hot through Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, afternoon and evening storms expected over the weekend. Highs around 90 with just isolated rain chances.
All right, Katie, thank you. Well, many are speculating that Governor Ron DeSantis could announce a run for the White House before this month is over. But is his popularity fading before a possible campaign even begins here? A media strategist gives us his input coming up next. Well, after months of speculation, is Governor Ron DeSantis any closer to announcing a presidential run in 2024? He was in Wisconsin this weekend, Chris.
Matt Cesney with our Scripps station WPTV in West Palm Beach is following the latest on the governor's potential bid for the White House, and also with some real insight from a media strategist.
Still no official announcement yet, but news is swirling around the governor who is expected to jump into this presidential race now that the legislative session is over in Tallahassee. Today, the governor was in Brooksville, Florida, that is just north of Tampa, signing other bills banning TikTok at school and curbing Chinese land ownership. In some political circles, it appears his stock is dropping a bit, especially his popularity among high-dollar mega donors, billionaires, and Wall Street executives. I talked with a national Republican media strategist about this and about what's happening.
It was very easy and emotional to want to jump very early onto the DeSantis bandwagon for a lot of these people who are now saying, you know what, there's no rush here. Why don't we take our time, take a look at how the governor does when he truly hits the trail.
Governor DeSantis has faced some pushback recently from Republicans, especially over his dispute with Disney. When will the governor get into this presidential race? Well, most of the speculation is it will happen before this month is over.
With just weeks left until hurricane season officially starts, leaders from across the state are gathering in Palm Beach County to be truly ready.
Still ahead, what they're learning about in this year's Governor's Hurricane Conference that could save your life.
Also, Title 42 is set to end this week on Thursday. What President Biden has done to try to address an expectant surge of migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border.
If the children aren't educated in how to use the tool properly, that's where harm can come in.
A new bill that would ban students from using social media in school here in Florida could soon become law.
And while it might frustrate many students, why educators say it could help keep them safe. Fox 4 News at 10 continues.
Live from Southwest Florida, this is Fox 4 News at 10.
A bill heading for the governor's desk for his signature would also change the way your children use their cell phones in school.
I'm sure this will be a dinner conversation at many people's homes here. So it would require social media safety to be taught to older students and also prohibit students from using social media while on school district internet.
Or at least a dinner text chain.
True.
Stephanie Susskind with our Scripps station WPTV in West Palm Beach takes a look at the impact, though, inside the classroom.
Let's face it, most students, they have their cell phones with them while they're in school. But this new law would require teachers actually designate a specific place that students put those phones during class.
If the children aren't educated in how to use the tool properly, that's where harm can come in.
Middle school teacher Karen Epstein is always reinforcing internet and social media safety with her students.
The power they hold now didn't exist. And that has awesome responsibilities and awesome consequences all at the same time.
But something happened that was true. A new law on the way to the governor would not only support but require those social media safety lessons for middle and high school students. Topics would include mental health, security, human trafficking, and cyberbullying.
The main thing we hear from students that they experience online is the bullying aspects.
Tammy Fields leads the Palm Beach County Youth Services Department. She says while there are some positive uses for social media, she sees the problems it can cause every day.
I don't think kids and even most adults really understand how long something is going to be on the internet. Once it's there, it's always there.
The new law would not only ban students from accessing social media while using school district internet, but they could not use their phones during instructional time unless the teacher gives permission as part of the lesson.
It makes sense that kids are not on their phones while they're in the classroom. The only caution I'd have is to make sure that phones still would be accessible in the event of an emergency.
Parents like Scott Borden always have internet safety top of mind.
We monitor, but we don't overstep our boundaries, as we know that can lead them in the opposite direction. But no, we have our eyes on anything that might raise an eyebrow.
Supporting everyone working together to help kids make smart decisions behind a screen.
That was Stephanie Susskind reporting. Well, the governor's hurricane conference is happening right now in Palm Beach County at the convention center there. And the focus is making sure your county knows what to do when the next hurricane strikes. So that conference is a multi-day event and coming just weeks before the start of the next hurricane season. Hundreds of emergency managers, first responders, agencies from city, county, state, and federal levels will come down to freshen up on hurricane preparedness. There will also be training sessions this week, workshops and exhibits highlighting the latest weather technology.
Everything's going technology, drones and communications and the way to get the word out, right? We want to make sure if there is an emergency, folks have a way to receive warnings and they know what to do.
The conference runs through Friday. Registration is still open. If you're interested in attending, you can find all of these details online at flghc.org.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed several bills today with the goal to try to limit China's influence in Florida. One bill bans China and other, quote, foreign countries of concern, unquote, from buying land for farming or land that is within 10 miles of critical infrastructure like airports, power plants, and military installations. Another law bans TikTok and other foreign-owned apps from government devices and networks. The ban applies to state, county, and local governments, as well as state universities. And the third piece of legislation bans state universities in Florida from accepting grants from certain nations.
Today, Florida makes it very clear we don't want the CCP in the Sunshine State. We want to maintain this as the free state of Florida, and that's exactly what these bills are doing.
The countries of concern listed in the legislation include China, Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, and Syria.
Well, the memorial for the 15-year-old girl who died in a Venice horseback riding competition was held today. The U.S. Equestrian Federation says Hannah Surface was born in Clearwater, and she was riding her horse in a class at the Fox Lee Farm Spring Concourse just a week ago when the horse tripped and fell. Hannah also fell and she died at the hospital. Her memorial was held at the World Equestrian Center today. Instead of flowers, her family requested that attendees bring a blue ribbon. That was her favorite color, with a personalized message on the back. The family has also set up a GoFundMe page to cover the costs of a commemorative tree with a plaque with Hannah's name on it. And the remaining funds will go to an organization of the family's choice.
And now this out of Martin County, as deputies say a 31-year-old man walked into a restaurant, stole a steak, then walked into a convenience store and stole a beer, but then walked into a sporting goods store, taking a baseball bat from inside the store and started smashing several glass cases while the workers and the customers watched. You can see it right here. The man, who investigators said is homeless, apologized though to the workers before he started breaking all the glass. But this man's now facing felony criminal mischief charges.
Well, we are continuing to follow news out of Allen, Texas tonight after police say a gunman opened fire at an outlet mall on Saturday, killing 8 people, hurting at least 7 others before then being shot and killed by police. It was really a horrific scene there. Here's what we know so far. Among the victims were a security guard, a 4th grade student, and a 2nd grade student. Police identified the shooter as 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia. They say he recently worked for 3 security companies, and an Army spokesperson confirmed he served in the military for 3 months before being removed for physical or mental health conditions. Police believe he was motivated by right-wing extremism, saying he posted online in support of Nazis. Authorities say the assault rifle used in the attack was purchased legally.
Cities and towns along the U.S.-Mexico border are also getting ready for the end of Title 42 on Thursday, just 3 days out. That's the pandemic-era public health order that allowed the Trump and Biden administrations to quickly remove migrants seeking asylum.
So what does this all mean? Well, our Joe St. George explains what the Biden administration is now doing to combat a surge of expected migrants who might be trying to make their ways to our border.
The Biden administration is used to dealing with major consequential topics like the debt ceiling, the pandemic, high inflation, and then there is the issue of the southern border. That issue is expected to come to a head later this week after Title 42 ends on May 11th. You see, before the pandemic, many asylum seekers would be allowed to stay in the U.S. while their asylum claims worked through the court system. Title 42 allowed the U.S. to immediately turn most away. Since 2020, Title 42 has been used 2.7 million times to expel migrants. Many migrants were expelled under Title 42 more than once. With the policy soon to be over, some Texas cities like El Paso, Laredo, and Brownsville have already declared a state of emergency. Already, migrants are sleeping on streets in El Paso. Many government facilities, which often look like this, have reached capacity. 10,000 or more migrants a day are expected to try and enter the U.S. once Title 42 expires. In anticipation of the spike, President Biden ordered new migrant processing facilities to open in Central America in an attempt to stop migrants from even attempting to cross into Mexico. 1,500 troops have been sent to the border to assist border agents with administrative tasks so more agents can be on patrol. Mexico, meanwhile, agreed last week to accept more migrants expelled from the U.S., giving the White House more flexibility to deport after Title 42.
This is challenging. We know that we anticipate more people at the border. There's not enough resources to deal with this.
On Capitol Hill, the week begins with lawmakers on both sides pondering at least the possibility that the end of Title 42 could result in meaningful immigration reform. The House could vote on a bill this week, which would serve as the starting point for negotiations.
It is true, Title 42 is a moment. Maybe this is the opportunity.
It's worth noting you don't have to live along the border to feel the impact. States like Arizona and Texas continue to bus migrants to other parts of the country. In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis' budget includes $12 million to relocate migrants who come to his state. In Denver, city leaders are spending around $800,000 a week on migrant services. And in New York, Mayor Eric Adams projects the city will be caring for 70,000 migrants by next year, costing billions.
This is an ongoing crisis.
Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
The White House says after months of airline issues, we've been reporting on them for some time, it does want to require airlines to pay customers back for canceled or delayed flights. A White House official says the new rule would mean airlines pay for, quote, controllable cancellations or delays, giving passengers money for hotel, food, or rebooking flights in some cases. The administration says no airline currently gives cash compensation for those preventable cancellations or delays. Canada and European Union nations, though, do have the mandates in place. And coming up, we are recognizing National Water Safety Month. This may be looking into try to ways to also keep your children safe for the summer.
The #1 thing swim instructors say parents can do now to make sure your kids are confident in the water.
And just off of the water, those crews in Collier County racing against time to try to strengthen the coastline with the berms. We got the up-top look from our Skyfox drone last night on what was a beautiful Sunday night, as you get to see it from Vanderbilt Beach in Naples.
And tomorrow looking just as beautiful if you're heading to Boca Grande, Captiva. Afternoon highs in the low to mid 80s. Farther south for Fort Myers Beach, a little hotter in the low 90s, but coastal Collier County looking great in the upper 80s. But that's not going to be the case for the rest of this work week. We'll take a look at when rain could dampen those plans next.
Well, as we head into the summer, we are looking at ways you can keep your kids safe around pools because accidents can happen in the blink of an eye. And that really is a concern here in Florida. So many pools.
Yeah, CDC also notes drowning, the #1 cause for death of children in Florida. Not a surprise. But Keely McCormick with our Scripps station WFTS in Tampa looked into a way to keep the young ones safe.
There's a lot to keep in mind when it comes to water safety. Keeping barriers around the pool, having kids wear life jackets. But the swim instructors I spoke with say the best way to prevent drowning is by teaching kids how to swim.
We have so many bodies of water around us in Florida, knowing that also I could prevent drowning. Aside from being a mother, I'm an emergency room doctor, so I see the other end of what can occur, and I definitely did not want that to happen to my son.
Lindsay Freeman signed her son up for swim lessons when he was just 2 years old, a decision she says she's happy she made while he was young.
I feel much more confident when we're close to water. I still, of course, watch him always, but just knowing that he has the lessons, that he's learning to get to the wall, he's learning to float.
Floating and how to grab the wall are some of the first things kids learn during swim lessons. Good job. I spoke to a local swim instructor. He tells me one of the most important things they teach kids is how to flip on their back and float. He says that skill can be a matter of life or death.
What do you do if you fall in the pool?
As for parents, he says prevention is key. If you have a pool at home, he says to put barriers around it. He also suggests parents stay up to date with CPR certifications and keep floaties on the pool deck. One of his most important tips is to keep an eye on your swimmer the entire time they're in the water.
One of the biggest misconceptions people have is drowning is this loud, splashy event that's going to alert everyone, but it's actually quick and quiet, and many times it occurs in front of people, loved ones, lifeguards. So visual supervision is vital.
1, 2, 3, go.
Aside from supervision, he says the best thing parents can do to prevent drownings and to save lives is to sign kids up for swim lessons at a young age.
Good job, Ava.
Especially Flow Floridians, it's vital to get swim lessons early as possible. We lead the country in drownings.
Well, we are now officially past 1 week into sea turtle nesting season here in Southwest Florida, and the Sanibel Captiva Conservation Foundation has already counted 20 loggerhead sea turtles on that island. The conservation says, unfortunately, some high tides and winds over the weekend left some of the new nests washed over, but the staff says it's not really a concern that for sure there's a loss here because some of the eggs can still survive. Now, wildlife experts will keep an eye on those nests. In the meantime, they asked you to do the same. Avoid disrupting any sea turtle nests that you may see out on the beach, Chris.
And we've been covering the process to take more than 400,000 tons of sand from inland to Collier County for the berms to protect people, property from any of the storm surge for the start of hurricane season. So last night for sunset, I wanted to check out Vanderbilt Beach in North Naples to give us all the view from above. And as we take a look at it right now, we'll see just how busy of a day it was, because for some people, it really turned out to be just perfect. This is our Skyfox drone video. This is golden hour last night, but lots of cloud cover that was out there, so it's not truly a signature night. But check it out with the berms. So some people happy to have these berms and bumps, even playing volleyball off of it. Now, if you go to Vanderbilt Beach, you're going to get split in one of two different ways, though, to get to the beach because they got those excavators that are out there. But again, it was a gorgeous night for it. Now we'll go a couple miles to the south. You could still see some of those berms that were in place, as you see them right here behind some of the larger homes. So they're kind of built up, so this way they can handle that storm surge. So it's critical to be able to make sure you have all of these in place, definitely for June 1st, as we bring in Fox 4 certified meteorologist Katie. Though, we can see some of that work being done where these crews can really show their work.
Exactly right. So, of course, we continue to closely monitor the conditions that we could see later on in August and September, of course, when we are here in peak hurricane season in Southwest Florida. At that point, we're actually anticipating a moderate to strong El Nino to develop. Now, that would be a good thing. That would actually help to inhibit storm development because of such strong wind shear aloft. So as of right now, we're actually expecting a slightly fewer number of storms than average. The average number of named storms in any given season is 14, but we are expecting around 13. Now, keep in mind, last year technically was average, and as we all know, it was anything but. All it takes is one. But as of right now, based upon that expectation of a developing El Nino, we could see some improvement to this season's activity. Meanwhile, outside right now, nice quiet conditions for those of you venturing out. Here we go atop the Fox 4 studios. Conditions nice and quiet for tonight. That's going to be the case again for tomorrow morning as well. So high pressure is in control. That means hot and dry. So for today, we officially maxed out at 91 degrees in Fort Myers, 86 for Naples, 89 for Punta Gorda. That is spot on for this time of year in Punta Gorda. Meanwhile, records not in jeopardy, even though Fort Myers, we were running a couple of degrees above average. That's going to be the case again tomorrow as well. Even right now, for those of you stepping outside, you can feel that extra moisture, those dew points creeping upward, now running in the mid-60s. It's going to be the case again tomorrow as well. With those higher dew points, you will be noticing a bit more of a heat index for the afternoon. Even at this hour, 78 degrees is feeling more like 80. So high pressure in control. That's leading to dry conditions, not just here at the surface, but also aloft as well. Once this breaks down, that will allow more active weather that you see up there toward the southeast, across the southeastern United States. All of that then will start to work its way our direction. So we'll become a bit more active Thursday heading into Friday. But for tomorrow, dry conditions are forecast. Lots of sunshine on the way. For the afternoon, we will be seeing a mix of clouds and sun to be expected with that higher humidity as well as that heat. But otherwise, radar will stay dry through the afternoon into the evening. Fast forward to your Wednesday. Again, a quiet start expected. Could see some areas of fog, so we'll be monitoring that potential very closely. But looking ahead to your Wednesday afternoon with an onshore wind that will basically force any potential shower development farther inland. So Hendry as well as Glades on Wednesday afternoon and evening. That's where we'll see the best potential for those showers and storms to fire up. And then as we look ahead to Thursday and Friday, all of us need to have that rain gear ready to go each afternoon and evening. So notice those rain probabilities creeping upward as showers and storms become more likely both Thursday and Friday afternoons. Before tonight, we stay dry. 69 degrees is where we'll start off the day. Afternoon highs climbing into the low 90s. Lots of sunshine, bit more cloud cover expected for the afternoon. And then for your Wednesday, an isolated inland shower will be a possibility with a better chance for afternoon and evening scattered storms Thursday into Friday.
Well, ahead on Fox 4 News at 11, could new changes to the death penalty law in Florida have an impact on a cold case trial 33 years later? We answer that question and take you inside court as jury selection begins.
Plus, tonight, deputies released the name of the woman found dead and decomposing in a Charlotte County home, and this man sharing the same last name in custody.
Plus, road closure signs are up around a busy 5th Avenue, Naples, but all part of a project to renovate the Naples Players Theater. We have a look at the theater's future and how it will impact you on your daily commute on Fox 4 News at 11.
"33 years since two people died in Cape Coral, a babysitter and the 11-year-old girl that she was watching, as the families are looking for justice. And today, the trial for Joseph Zeiler finally started with jury selection.
How a new state death penalty law could actually impact this case, as Fox 4 News at 11 starts now.
Live from Southwest Florida, this is Fox 4 News at 11.
And the man charged with killing these two that you see right behind me, a babysitter, Lisa Story, an 11-year-old girl right there, Robin Cornell, is finally going to trial more than 3 decades later. Thank you for watching Fox 4 News at 11.